Let us concentrate only on the breath, no other thoughts. There is a saying in Telugu or in Uttara Gita where it is called Pujakoti Samam Stotram, Stotrakoti Samo Japaha, Japakoti Samam Dhyanam, and Dhyanakoti Samo Layaha, which means 1 crore times of puja is equal to one stotram, and 1 crore times of stotram we read is equal to japam, and 1 crore times of japam is equal to 1 hour of meditation, friends. And 1 crore times of 1 hour meditation is where we attain. So we are doing this meditation from many past lives. And even 1 minute is also very much important. Let us utilize our time wisely. And let us all attain our spiritual goals. Let us focus on the breath. If you have any thoughts, just observe them. Don't push yourself. Just be comfortable with yourself as you are. Become one with the breath, friends. Music is helping us to get into our rhythm of breath. Or what you are. Let us love ourselves. Let us be completely comfortable with ourselves. Like a peacock dances in rain, let your soul dance with your meditation. not stop yourself. Whatever thoughts you have, just observe. Slowly come back, bring back your consciousness to the breath. We all will create our reality by knowingly or unknowingly. But let us utilize these energies to create our own reality. Let us consciously create it. Let us slowly come back. Last 2 minutes, friends. Last 30 seconds. Last 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Slowly put your hands on your eyes and let us take all the energies from our palms that we have received. Slowly open your eyes, friends. If you still want to be in that meditative state, please be. And friends, if anyone wants to share, please unmute yourself and you can share your experience. Does anyone wants to share, friends? Wow. Everyone are still in that meditative state. It's very nice. So, Madhu, may I ask you to take ahead?
Thank you so much, Nilima.
Thank you, Madhu.
Thank you for guiding. It was really, really beautiful. The music is really amazing.
Thank
It's
you so
very deep.
much.
Thank you once again, Nilima.
Yes.
And friends, today is the last day of reading the book, The Buddha's Wife. So I want you all to stay the same way which you were before by closing your eyes. After many months, news arrived that the Buddha was walking back south and would pass nearby the palace. I am proclaiming my son to be a Buddha, King Suddhodana announced. Hearing this news, I will give him my majestic forest of teak for his Sangha. He can stay here forever if he wants. I myself will attend Dharma talks and encourage all men to join him. I have decided to become a follower. In my judgment, my son is an enlightened spiritual teacher, the best that anyone has ever seen. I will receive his teachings, but I will not be giving up my throne. My goal is not only to become enlightened, but to bring this enlightenment to the kingdom. This proclamation was made in the king's usual royal manner, calling all the members of the palace and the people of his city to hear it. To Yashodhara, this seemed a strange path. The Buddha suggested that wholehearted effort was necessary on the path to awakening, and that the greatest step to end suffering was to let go of attachments, such as this vast kingdom. But at least there would be no more conflict in the palace about Siddhartha being dead to the king. No more suffering about that. Clearly, the king basked in the frame of his son. The king was still very much a king. Pajapati said to Yashodhara, there is much suffering as king and much suffering created by a king. This proclamation can't hurt and might help. But then Yashodhara's worst fear came true. Mother, said Rahula, with strength in his voice, now that the Buddha is coming back again, I have decided to become a monk, joining my father's Sangha, the Sangha of the Buddha. I will join when he gets here. He will take me with him. Yashodhara could not conceal her shock. You are so young. There are no boys. I shall be the first boy. Imitating the tone of the Buddha, he said, it is my path too, and I even have my special bowl, his bowl. And I'm your mother, and I say no, not yet, not now. 7 is too young, maybe when you are older. It has to be right now because he will be leaving soon, and I want to walk with him, learn from him, learn everything from him. I will not allow it, and I doubt that Siddhartha will allow it. I had already asked the Buddha with my bowl in my hand. I asked, he said yes. Are you lying to me? She looked at him sternly. Rahula stared at her. You need to stay until you are of age, and when he comes back again, if you still want to, you can join him. The boy turned and walked away, and did not give up, sullen and withdrawn. He ate little and went out less. Suddhodana and Prajapati began to relent. Both spoke to Yashodhara about this question, strangely encouraging her to let him go. You didn't want him to become a warrior, the king said, and I agreed. The path of the spirit is what you wanted for him, did you not? Chenna was in agreement with Yashodhara and tried to convince Rahula to delay this decision, but the boy would not be denied. Yashodhara sent Chenna to talk with Ananda. Chenna explained Yashodhara's concern and returned saying that there were no restrictions on how young an aspiring monk can be. Ananda had reassured them Ananda had reassured them that if he joined as the youngest monk can be, Ananda had reassured them that if he joined as the youngest monk, the boy would be carefully attended to. But other than that, he would be given no special treatment. He would walk and beg, listen and practice mindful breathing and the other practices. Yashodhara and Channa suffered, but on the day of Rahula's departure, they each tried to be kind and hopeful. Two monks arrived to take him away. They handed him a simple robe and he slipped it over his head. Yashodhara moved to kiss him goodbye. Rahula moved toward her. The monks protested the touch. She stopped, stunned. Rahula then took off his robe and moved into her arms. He held her very hard. Feeling this little body that was of her body, Yashodhara sobbed. She felt him shake too and cry out. And then finally, they both let go. He put the robe back on and she drank him in, all of him, to always remember him this way. Goodbye, mother. He turned and walked away. To see her little boy, now dressed in a simple robe and carrying his bowl, walk off with two strangers was wrenching. He's going off with his father, even to go off with the Buddha after such close contact with me for so many years, growing up with me and the other women, learning to sit in our circle and speak up in our circle and share his child's wisdom there, freshening all of us like spring rain. Even though she knew she had encouraged it, it was a tremendous loss. He's breaking the connection I have held in my deepest spirit, the connection that is the lifeblood of all I have come to value in body and in spirit. I must do everything to stay close to him, to follow him as the Sangha travels. And why not? There is nothing left now here. Her anger at Siddhartha rose again. Yashodhara missed Rahula insanely, which brought her back to the desperate time after she was abandoned by Siddhartha, and how, at first, the only reason for her to try to live was Rahula. She went to the Buddha's forest gathering to meet with Rahula, but he could only sit with her outside the Sangha. Despite all their past, a wall began to build between them. On that first journey to see her son, Yashodhara only saw the Buddha from a great distance away, through the trees, as he sat on his seat above the large crowd of his admirers, teaching. Women were not allowed to come any closer into the Sangha. She continued to visit, but less and less. Sometimes she would simply stand there alone, hoping for a glimpse of the boy as he passed by in the line of monks, going out to beg for food. As he passed, she would give him some rice and a fresh mango. The first time his eyes lit up and he laughed, then he bowed to her and she to him. The next time he seemed to be suppressing a laugh but giggled and smiled. On the day that he and the other arahats were leaving the teak forest, his face showed no emotion. He made a slight bow. Back home, Yashodhara became more and more reluctant to practice any of the Buddha's teachings. Prajapati began to embrace the Buddha's teachings wholeheartedly and could not fully accept Yashodhara's reluctance. Over the next year, Prajapati sought out her son, the Buddha, on two occasions, sending messages to Ananda requesting permission for her and other women of her Sangha to enter the spiritual community as nuns. Twice the Buddha refused, saying, "This is not the place for women." Prajapati understood that to include women was in the spirit of his teachings. After all, he had welcomed men of all castes, ages, and conditions of bodily health to join him. She persisted, though she understood his reluctance, as there would be a great danger to women who had left their homes or were living together without men. Yet, the Buddha had already declared that women were capable of full awakening. Prajapati knew that bold actions were called for. She gathered the women of her Sangha together. They sat together in the circle to discern what next action to take. After examining all the risks and dangers, they decided to stop waiting and take their leave. In a ritual ceremony, each woman shaved the head of another, and they left home with none of their possessions, none of their beautiful saris, sandals, and shawls. They walked together serenely with begging bowls to where the Buddha was teaching. Yashodhara had hesitated before agreeing to go with them, but sensed that even if she could not fully commit to the Buddha's teachings, she would choose to be with Pajapati and the others. And it might be the way to stay closer to her son, whose loss lay now like a cold stone in her heart, next to the loss of her husband. There was great joy in their decision to go, a sense of great adventure and freedom. They were frightened and hopeful, still not knowing what would happen. They walked the path together into the unknown joyfully and courageously, touching the strength of their shared inquiry. On the narrow, dusty roads, they walked two by two, sometimes talking, sometimes chanting, sometimes in silence, and the circle held all. Chenna followed to help. News of the women's leaving home and walking toward the Buddha preceded them, and crowds started to form to watch them pass. They walked hundreds of miles and arrived exhausted, hungry, and worn. When they finally arrived at the entrance to the Jetavana monastery, Pajapati asked to have a meeting in person with the Buddha. The Venerable Ananda saw and understood that they were a dedicated group of practitioners already well on their way to crossing over to join part of the spiritual community. He spoke with the Buddha on their behalf, but the Buddha refused. They have shaved their heads, donned their robes, carried their begging bowls, and they have walked together many miles to get here. They are at the door. The Buddha knew how difficult it would be to have a woman join the Sangha. Women alone, unprotected, were subject to great danger, and the presence of women would be a difficult temptation for the monks. But finally his heart opened and he relented, giving his permission to the women as long as they followed some special rules of the order made to protect them and the monks too. A new monastic community of women was formed alongside the men's sangha. Word spread like the monsoon rains that the queen and the princess and many other noble women and their servants had joined the Buddha Sangha, something as yet unheard of. Sooner than one might imagine, and not without many challenges, from concerns about dress to right manners, to serving the monks' meals, to cleaning, and to what to do when several women arrived with their children. They created a refuge for women who came for many different reasons, from the richest landowner's wife to the impoverished and abandoned wife. A great number of those who came were seeking refuge from lives of brutality, servitude in their families, homelessness, or terrible loss of children and family. The stories they told in the circle brought tears to all. Often, women would compose poems that were recited in the circle. My children both are gone, and in that bush dead lies my husband on one funeral bier. My mother, father, and my brother burned. And then, at last, I saw him as he went, within that blessed city, Mithila, great tamer of untamed hearts. Yeah, him, the very Buddha, banisher of fear. In the circle, this immense grief held by all together without even lifting a finger to make it go away, often softened to sorrow, and like alchemy, the shared sorrow often eased into shared understanding, kind acceptance, and actions to help others. Pachapati flourished under her devoted practice of the Buddha's teachings, embracing them thoroughly. She and Yashodhara and the other nuns of the Buddha Sangha lived apart from the monks in their own camp. There was a little contact, and the nuns sat in a separate group when the Buddha offered teachings. Channa had left them and returned to the palace to be with his wife and children. Through Prajapati's growing reputation as a revered elder, Her compassionate nature and her wise dharma talks in public gatherings, other women were attracted to become nuns in the Buddha's Sangha and were supported there. Many of these women entered the community in a state of desperation, with nowhere else to go. Yashodhara saw in them her own story and remembered how Pajapati had come to her, nurturing her through as they developed the sacred circle of compassion and the path of right relation. Other women were drawn to the community upon hearing the Buddha and tried through every means to obtain permission from husbands and family to go forth and live the holy life. Still, Yashodhara held back from fully embracing the Buddha's teachings. She felt uncomfortable with his sitting on a raised platform high above all as the awakened one. This was how he offered his teachings rather than sitting on the ground as one among others in the awakened we as the woman had. In addition to the teachings of the Buddha, both Yashodhara and Pajapati, along with the other women, still sat in their circle. This was the heart of their own Sangha practice and a way of including the woman, new woman. The women of the palace had been saved by and had nurtured the ripe moments arising on and illuminating this path, and the practices that helped. They were now continuing what had healed them, offering teachings and wisdom to the women as they entered. The circle expanded to include these new ones. Yashodhara and others continued to go forth together to those in the villages and towns close by. Yashodhara was intent on offering these women freedom from the suffering of daily life and from the oppressive burden of their householder existence, as well as refuge for those in the most extreme circumstances. Prajapati became more focused on the monastic Sangha of the Buddha's nuns. The nuns lived quite separately from the monks, except for the monks' oversight of the women's community as per the Vinaya, the laws of the order. Sometimes they traveled with the Buddha Sangha and sometimes they remained behind, bringing new women into the fold. For a while, Yashodhara was able to continue seeing her own son, at least seeing him pass, as the monks walked out of their encampment to the village for alms and to pass by on the way back. Sensing his growing adulation for the Buddha, his father, and the other older monks, she saw him becoming more and more distant from her. Each time she saw him, the wrenching sadness was evoked anew. Pajapati felt Yashodhara suffering in the estrangement from Rahula and in her continued reluctance to fully embrace the Buddha's teachings. Finally, troubled by the fractures in their friendship, Pajapati suggested that the two of them sit in a circle alone together and try to come to an understanding. After sitting in silence, they spoke. Why is it not possible for you to commit fully to the awakened one's path and practices? Pajapati asked. Dear one, Yashodhara said, you and I had different relations with him when he was Siddhartha. You, as his mother, can still see him as your son, beloved no matter what. And I, as his wife, who fell in love with him and made love with him and gave birth to and raised his son, had a very different relationship. In a way, he is still Siddhartha to me. And despite trying for all these years, I can never totally forgive Siddhartha for what he did, and all that has occurred. Yashodhara could sense Prajapati stiffening. Please do see this. Please, I will never again be able to sit alone with my son. Prajapati was startled by the fire in these words. I know, she said, but the Buddha has spoken about this clinging, and has shown a way through it. Clinging? Is that what you call this bond between mother and a child? It is as deep a love as anyone can know. It's not about letting go or about renouncing the bond with Him. It is about all of us together as one Sangha and never losing this special bond. I'm not sure I can remain here. She paused. Prajapati, dear one, I know you are disappointed in me. I may have to leave, as painful as that will be, but it may be the only way I can survive. Like the grace of your compassion when you first came toward me, when I wanted to die, I chose life. I have the strange sense that when I walk out of this Sangha and fully commit to the shade path, I will feel a rush of life, as alive as when he left me and our baby so suddenly that I wanted to die. How strange. She paused again. As alive as when I wanted to die. Stillness. The break between them, the chairs loomed large. And then Prajapati reached out and took her hand, saying kindly, he caused us great suffering, yes, but that suffering birthed our path and our awakening together, and we can be grateful for that. I am, Yashodhara nodded. The Buddha himself cannot walk this path. I sensed that deeply, but he pointed the way for me, and I will never abandon it. I will take from his teachings and help to create shared path. I will stay for now. Can both these teachings coexist together as they belong? I am not sure. And then, with a hint of mischief, she said, but to use the Buddha's own word, they do co arise. Yes? Prajapati chuckled and nodded. Yes. She took Yashodhara's hand and gently stroked it. Dear one, I understand. The first russet of dawn crept into the sanctuary. Both Prajapati and I knew that I was holding back in a way that she was not, Yashodhara continued. And at first, this created a distance between us. But still, we lived on and worked together until our traveling Sangha of women traveling with the Buddha was thriving. Together, we tried to join our wisdom and practices with the monastic rites and practices of Buddha, expanding both paths so that there was something of a joining of the best practices and teachings of each. Prajapati embraced the Buddha's teachings with an earnestness and devotion as tenacious as anyone, and soon became recognized as an enlightened one, an arahat, known as Mahapajapati. She was renowned for her compassion and wisdom, and offered dharma talks wherever the Buddha went, bringing more women into the Sangha, women like you. This was a radical turn towards affirming the great Buddha nature of all sentient beings, including women. Women have become more valued, and their great potential for spiritual attainment has begun to be recognized, although they still must follow all the special rules of the order. She paused, then said, but we still have our spiritual freedom, the vows and practices that illuminate the power of our own Sangha. Prajapati stirred. Yashodhara's face was caught in the day's first light. Let us chant our morning vows together so Mahapajapati can hear. May we be a god for those who need protection, a guide for those on the path, a boat, a raft, a bridge for those who wish to cross the flood. May we be a lamp in the darkness, a resting place for the weary, a healing medicine for all who are sick, a vase of plenty, a tree of miracles. And for the boundless multitudes of living beings, may we bring sustenance and awakening, enduring like the earth and the sky, until all beings are freed from sorrow and all are awakened together. May we be a God for those who need protection, a guide for those on the path, a boat, a raft, a bridge for those who wish to cross the flood. May we be a lamp in the darkness, a resting place for the weary, a healing medicine for all who are sick, a vase of plenty, a tree of miracles. And for the boundless multitudes of living beings, may we bring sustenance and awakening, enduring like the earth and the sky, until all beings are freed from sorrow and all are awakened together. Years passed. Yashodhara went on as the sunlight crept more boldly in. A morning dove cooed and was answered by its mate. Our women's Sangha grew and matured within the rules and practices of the Buddha's monastic community. The power of his Sangha was great, and more of the teaching centered on individual attainment. Mahapajapati and one or two other bhikkhunis became full arahats and were recognized for this, as was I, but I still could not embrace his path fully. A whimsical smile was on her face. I kept wondering, what if, in that second meeting I had with the Buddha in the pine grove, he had said to me, "Dear one, let us go out and teach a true shared path where the two paths meet together." All of us listening looked at each other. Was she serious? Seeing the look on our faces, she smiled, and we all smiled back. With joy, she said, "What a time that might have been! What a path that might have become!" We noticed that Prajapati was resting more peacefully, her breaths rare but unlabored. Yashodhara stroked her forehead, her cheek, and cradled her hand. Prajapati's eyes fluttered open for a moment and met Yashodhara's sad and loving gaze. I was continuing my work in the Sangha with the new arrivals, with some of you. Then, a week ago, Prajapati became very ill. It was determined that nothing more could be done to help her. As she had come to me so many years before, I went to her beside to attend to her and be with her through her death. The Buddha was far away, and I knew she would never ask him to come to her. I put all else aside to be with her. Our deep love and gratitude began to flow as we remembered and talked about our lives together. The sacred circle of her life and our lives together was holding us close again. With the depth of silence and the clarity of right speech and right listening, we were again in right relation. Our beloved Pajapati seemed to see deeply into my heart, and even with her diminishing strength, poured all her mental energy toward me. She spoke of my separation from the Buddha and how I had never been fully released from my suffering. She called me a bodhisattva, one who holds back from attaining nirvana, full enlightenment, to help others along the path. Seeing deeply into the whole of our lives, she seemed to come to a great insight. This is what she said. Tears pooled in Yashodhara's eyes, and through them she spoke Pajapati's words. "You have tried hard to keep alive our path of awakening of going forth together on the path of right relation. But the truth of this doorway is already being lost. We must keep it alive. Yashodhara, dear one, you must tell your story, and all must listen deeply. And remember, you must be heard." Yashodhara sat quietly, watching Prajapati's eyes open and then close for the last time. As Prajapati entered the realm of the deathless, Yashodhara, once again in sorrow, felt herself born into the unknown. Following Prajapati's death, Yashodhara and we novices accompanied her body back to the palace, to the cremation grounds, where King Suddhodana received her and made the ritual passage of her body and spirit to the air, wind, earth, fire, and water. We all grieved the passing of this great Arahat, the first woman ordained by the Buddha. When it was over, we novices were to return to the nuns' Sangha with great love. Yashodhara told us that she would no longer stay in the community of nuns following the teachings of Buddha. She would no longer subdue her story. She had to be true to her understanding and find a new way to live and teach in the light of her own wisdom. Yashodhara felt profoundly sad, seeing that she was irrevocably choosing to live the split in the path, yet had Words both saddened and, as always, inspired us. Two of the other novices left and returned to the Buddha's community. I, Kisa Gotami, stayed along with Naila, Yashodhara's oldest friend. Suddhodana invited Yashodhara to stay at the palace. She could tell that he was not well. He was sorrowed by his queen's death and by the loss of his son and grandson. Yashodhara agreed to stay with him, but not in the palace itself. She would stay in a dwelling that he would construct adjacent to the pine grove that he had been the site and source of so much grieving, and beyond all hope, the birth of the path of right relation. He immediately agreed. I shall build you a grand temple. Yashodhara refused the scale of it and asked for a simple hut, much like the squirrel sanctuary. There I will receive all who wish to learn about our path of awakening. I will teach those who stay, who do not ordain in the holy life, but instead take their vows within their devotional relationships. This path is theirs too. The king smiled, happy to have her home again. The event of Pajapati's death strengthened Yashodhara, and her clarity burned brightly. She knew that she no longer wanted anything from Siddhartha. There would be no more clinging to a teacher or to a Buddha, the awakened one. For Yashodhara, it seemed that he had forever shut the door on their shared mutual inquiry. She would choose to keep the possibility alive, the door remaining open. Naila and I stayed with Yashodhara. Others came, men and women, and sat with Channa and us in the pine grove, in a circle on the solid, level ground. They came seeking refuge, spiritual wisdom, and peace. Yashodhara grew in presence and awareness as she, listening deeply to all, realized and taught more and more clearly the wisdom of the moments of relational awakening on the path that had come to life here. Channa, his wife, and their grown children joined the inquiry. Yashodhara always spoke of him as my most constant and great spiritual friend. Her teachings became more and more simple and strong. She and Channa stayed with Suddhodana through his death. I, Kisa Gotami, traveled back to rejoin the Nan Sangha of the Buddha. Naila remained with Yashodhara. Many years passed. When I heard that Yashodhara had died, I traveled back to the palace and spoke to Channa. He was aged in body, more twisted than ever, but his spirit was strong. His eyes, which had seen everything, were still as expectant and joyous as child's. Chenna said, Yashodhara lived quietly here with Naila. She offered her teaching to those who came to inquire with her. She also responded when asked to visit other communities, often in strife, to share her wisdom of compassion, non-violence, and peace-keeping circles. He thought carefully. What was so beautiful about Yashodhara in these later years was the depth of her listening, as deep as the ocean and as wide as the expanse of sky on the great plains of the Ganges. The listening of one who has known great suffering, one who has lived through great love and loss and has come to peace. She listened deeply to everyone, right listening or wise listening. She called this her final spiritual practice. She felt that her silent meditation practice with the Buddha had come to fruition, opening, listening, coming again and again to the wholeness of each moment, each relation, hearing the unspoken, the silence behind the speech, the space that births the words, and the reality that lies beyond the words, arising out of and vanishing back into the deep well of compassion within us, around us, and between us, the dharma of love at the heart of the universe. He nodded his head slowly several times in gratitude. She said, "We together weave the invisible thread at the heart of the universe that connects us all." A sigh, carrying a depth of satisfaction with life itself. She had a deep well of faith in what had been seen and felt on the path of awakening with, and she shared that with all, a sense of stillness. As she grew old, she was cared for by me and my family, especially by my grandchildren. She loved being with the children here at home when no one else who had known her as a princess was still alive. We cared for her as we had cared for the king. She died in the heart of our love. We were all at peace. He paused, and with tears in his eyes said quietly, she never saw her son Rahula or Siddhartha again. Before she died, Yashodhara seemed to see the future. She made a prophecy. Chenna was transfixed, his eyes shining as if he too was seeing the future. Her prophecy was this: while the conditions are not ripe today for the full flowering of the shared path, the seeds have been planted. I do not know when, but sometime they will sprout, bud, and blossom. There will come a time. While the conditions are not ripe today for the full flowering of the shared path, the seeds have been planted. I do not know when, but sometime they will sprout, bud, and blossom. There will come a time. As for me, Kisa Gotami, my own life will be ending soon. Now, but for you, Yashodhara's story and her teachings will be lost to the world. Hear it, remember it, and pass it on. Thus, I have heard. That's all, friends. The end of the Buddha's wife. I hope you all have taken the lessons from this. It's wonderful, wonderful book. And if anybody wants to share anything, friends, please go ahead and unmute yourself.
Madhu, who is this Isha Gautami? Is she a
It's
friend? Or?
it's Kisa Gotami.
Oh,
Kisa
oh,
Gotami
Kisa.
was the
Uh-huh.
yeah is the Kisa Gotami was the first disciples of the Buddha.
Oh, I see.
She was the one like when her son died, she
Uh-huh.
went to she heard a lot about Buddha, like he's a great person, so many people have said her that if you go to Buddha your son will come back to life. So what she does is she takes her son's body and she goes to
Oh, that's
Buddha.
right. The mustard seed story.
Yes, exactly, that's the
Oh,
lady. That's
that's the
Kisa
lady.
Gotami. Yeah, that's the
Oh,
lady.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
So
Great.
Ananda is actually
The cousin of
Siddhartha's
Buddha.
cousin. Yeah,
Yes, cousin of
Siddhartha's
Buddha.
cousin. Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
yeah.
Thank you, Madhu.
Great.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. I think I'm reading only the first part. The part two is about the authors and what they did later.
Okay.
So I have read only the story part because this is where the story is more interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, see the later part. That's how Yashodhara in those days, she had the vision and she started, sangha of her, and
Mm-hmm.
Prajapati and for
Mm-hmm.
ladies. It's very good, and that's the how they envision their the future vision.
That's true.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and also the most important point in this is like everyone should follow the deep listening.
Yep,
We it's
yep,
this is the important lesson that is
yep. That
took the time
that
to speak.
really,
You know,
yeah,
like we speak a lot, but we hardly listen. So we hear,
that's
but we
very
don't
true.
listen. So I think when we listen, we will really connect to the other person who is sharing their story to us. So yeah, we should all develop this quality of listening.
That's very true.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you,
wonderful,
thank you.
wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else, friends? Anybody else wants to share? All right. So friends, tomorrow we have before we go to tomorrow's sessions, I will be sharing one more news thanks to Kavita for this thought that she had given to me, that starting from November 11th, friends, we will be doing this raw food retreat. Like this, we will be planning to do it for 15 days. 15 days we will be on a raw food diet, and I should also thank to Pari as well for her initiative in doing this 9 days of a detox, liquid detox, mm, challenge that she had given to everybody, and everybody have done it very well, and they have proved their strength that food is not, is not required to keep our body alive. So speaking about breatharians and about the energy, prana, and everything, so we can also sustain without eating any food, because we are getting cosmic energy all the time. And to go back, I mean, like to the times when we were only eating the fruits and vegetables directly from the from the garden, or from where we were making the like from our own garden. So this thought came up that that we should also do a raw food challenge. And I would tell a story, because this happened from I've read this book called Anastasia, and after reading that book, after hearing the story of Anastasia, I really got inspired. Something said to me that if Anastasia could live in the forest, and she could eat only the fruits and the nuts over there, so why not I do it the same way what she did it? But we being in the city.
Is this the Russian girl who were?
Yes, yes,
Oh,
yes,
okay. Yeah.
exactly.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, she's an inspiration for me to go on a raw food diet. So I did for 2 months, starting from January till till Feb end or March first week. I was on a raw food diet, and I could really see the difference, a huge difference in my energy and also in my body, and how my face was glowing, and everything had changed. I was very strict. I was really following. It's not like a pressure that I have to no, I should I'm not controlling anything, like many people say that I have this craving. When I fix my mind, this is again what is 9-day fast, which Pari had done it, like the detox. It was to test our willpower as well. So the raw food diet, the raw food challenge or the retreat is also the same, that we will be eating only the raw food, so only the fruits, vegetables, and making some soups. So in that 15 days I will be giving you the recipes also, how to make the smoothies or the breakfast, and lunches and snacks. So I will be guiding. So if this interests you, and if you want to take part in this challenge, please let us know. You can write us in the group, and we will do this challenge all together. So it will be really interesting. Yeah.
Hi, Madhu.
Hey, Usha.
Yeah, I would be interested, but I'm not sure if I will be able to achieve. I was, yeah, maybe many people who did not see you during your raw food diet, I could visibly see the changes. And I
Yeah,
could also say that Melina, I saw her
Elena,
probably before and after, and it was a drastic change in both of you.
that's
I
true.
could see that.
That's true. That's
And I
very
would
true.
also be interested how maybe Pari did about this water
Yeah,
detox or
yes.
liquid detox.
Yes, I will share you the link of their experience, sharing what happened afterwards for the ones who had done that fast, and how
Mm-hmm.
did they experience. I will share you the link, Usha.
Sure, Madhu. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Madhu, you
Okay.
can share that link to me as well.
I'll do
That
that. I'll do
would be
that, Lakshmi.
yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes.
And thanks for the initiative. It's really
Yeah,
interesting.
it's
Yeah.
really important, like food, especially when we go back to the raw food. My goodness, I'm telling you that it's really amazing. Like I can like I'm waiting when this November 11th will come and when we will start. And before that, friends, if you really want to take part in this challenge, prepare yourself to meditate more and more so that you gain that willpower to take part in this challenge. And you will get enough cosmic energy that's available. And yeah, so that's the story which is happening on.
Madhu,
Yes,
for
Nilima.
me, tomorrow is November 11th.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Madhu. I'm also eagerly waiting. I can't tell you
Yes,
how
Kavita.
much I'm looking forward for
I
this.
think I think I think thanks to you, Kavita, like if you wouldn't have asked me, maybe I wouldn't have like thought about it, because I
No,
was
when
thinking,
I
it
got that
is.
idea, I could only think of you to initiate this. So that's when I pinged you. I could only see you. So, yes,
Yes.
I know
So
you are gonna make it happen,
yes.
and I'm just waiting for that.
Perfect. Thank you, Kavita. Thank you
Oh,
for
thank you, Madhu. Thank you that you're
putting
doing.
this seed. Because I always thought it is very personal, because this raw food challenge is like very personal thing, because I never asked anybody to do that, because it has to happen within them, so that is why this preparation of a few days of practicing meditation before doing the challenge will help us to feel it in our body, mind, and soul, that we are completely ready to take up this challenge. And I'm telling you that it's not like we become weak, or we become tired.
Yeah,
It's so nourishing. The
I
the
agree.
the mixture of the vegetables and the fruits and the smoothies, it is really amazing. And it's a great opportunity to me as well to create recipes, to invent recipes, because that I love to do that. And yeah, very
True.
much looking forward for it, Kavita. Thank
True,
you
Madhu.
once again.
Because when we started this liquid diet, you know how confused I was on the
Mm.
second day or so. I spoke to you, right, Madhu?
Right,
Uh,
right.
but on from third day, it was pretty normal. I was also working out. I mean, they asked very strictly not to do strength exercises.
Mm.
That's why I started walking, just because I'm so used to working out. I just could
Yeah.
not sit idle, and I was only on liquid diet and not even like consuming too much or anything. I was just trying to uh, consume like one drink at least for lunch or for breakfast, just so I have that energy. But
Mhm.
again, I realized even that was a myth. I could have done on water.
Yeah.
So you're right, Madhu.
So
So
we will
what were the liquids you were taking those 11 days?
So morning
days.
we started with lemon and water. That was
Mm-hmm.
like the first thing that I used to do. Is now also I'm continuing lemon and water, lemon and warm water. And then for breakfast, they said you better take a couple of fruits and then mix it with water. And then you need to take the pulp out if you can, because we don't need the fiber, because that was
Mm-hmm.
more. They talked so much about how it works, processes, and all. I was not in all those sessions, but yeah, they asked to kind of take the pulp out and just drink the liquid, just so your ketosis or purification
Okay.
happens
Yeah.
to whatever extent it has to. And
So only
then
the
for
juice part.
juice part, right? And then for lunch or dinner, whoever wanted to, they suggested couple of veggies. Like they mainly suggested budida gummadkai, if you know budida
Yeah,
gummadkai.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Pumpkin.
yeah.
People tried all sorts of combos. I was talking to Madhu, and Madhu mentioned about celery, parsley, and then I went and got those, and then I had an awesome time with mixing celery with spinach and beetroot, mixing parsley with spinach and beetroot. I made
Uh,
sure to have spinach or beetroot because I know if I diet, I have hair fall. So this time I was little careful and cautious. So hair fall didn't happen this time, surprisingly.
Great. Wow.
So Madhu, so we can eat salads and fresh fruits.
Yes.
Okay.
Salads, fresh fruits. We can use olive oil, and yeah, we can use.
Yeah, yeah. Actually,
We
me
can
and my
either
husband, we did
either.
keto diet for a few months last year
Mhm.
because my husband had
Keto diet
diabetes.
is yes. Yeah, keto diet for me it is too much, I also tried it a couple of years back, and it is too much straining. It is taking too
Yeah.
much of my energy. I felt it. But when I was doing the raw food diet, I eat whenever I'm hungry. It's not like
Yeah.
like you should only
Restricted.
3
Yeah.
times. No
That.
restricted, because
Yeah.
they say that we have to eat as much as possible, because the leaves and the salads and the greens which we
Yeah. They
take,
give energy. Yeah.
yes, so
You always
it's not a
say,
problem.
raw food always gives you more energy.
Right. So yeah, so that we
Wonderful.
can, I think it will be a great challenge. It will be really
Oh yeah.
a treat.
Yeah. I also hear, in Western countries, we are always used to eat more salads.
Yes,
So
salads.
there should not be any problem. Yeah.
That's
And we
true.
eat lot of greens also.
Hey,
Right. Archana, yes, Archana. Hey,
I'm
Archana.
so sorry, I got confused and joined very late. So caught up the last couple of sentences which you guys were talking about. So are you going to start something new?
Yes, Archana. Starting from November 11th, for 15 days, we will be doing a raw food retreat. Like,
Okay. I'm so
so it's like
excited.
inspiring. Sorry?
I'm so excited because just now I finished that Pari's this thing.
Yes. And I should thank Kavita. This is the initiative of Kavita. She
Nice.
had put this in my head that we should do
All
something like.
Madhu. It is happening because of Madhu.
I really
Same.
don't want
Thank you
Yeah,
so much,
yeah.
Madhu.
I already thanked her. I already said thanks to Pari. Like I already messaged her saying that, hey, after you doing that, and one of her friends, Kavita, she had asked to do this. See, you are inspiring many. Thanks for that. I said. I wrote to her.
I
Yeah.
hope my family they don't have any objections because I recently did that. I hope they'll be okay with it because they're thinking I'm doing some or the other drama every now and then.
It's yeah.
I would like to, because especially it'll be under guidance and it'll be in the group, it'll
Mm,
be
mm,
in the thing. And
yes.
it's so much doable when it's in the group or under someone's guidance. And I've
Right.
really ever
Right.
tried a food diet. And
Mm-hmm.
probably I'll just share this thing with few of my friends who probably would
Yes.
be interested.
Yes, please. This is open for all. So I think we will discuss in the coming days how we will do it. Like we will have a WhatsApp messages, and then we will have a call every 2 days, and then we talk, we meditate, we will plan for it, fixing the time according to everybody.
Perhaps there'll be a different WhatsApp group, right, Madhu?
Yes, it will be a different WhatsApp. It will be a different WhatsApp. We will not club it with the
Yeah.
team. Yeah. And one more thing. Yes. So my
Any help, Madhu? I'll be able to help just in
yeah,
case if you need
maybe
any.
maybe Kavita, if you could do some writing, to invite others, so if you could do some writing, that will be of a great help.
Okay,
Like
will do.
explaining
Yeah.
explaining about this, why we doing this challenge, and mentioning about your experience of detox with Pari you have done, and like combining everybody's experience and how this is also important. If you can mention, then we can spread it out to everyone.
Sure, Madhu. I'll do the initial draft and just
Yes,
send it to you
perfect,
just so you can read it and then
perfect,
add anything and then we'll share it out. Okay. And
perfect.
you can
Yes,
share it in all different groups just so people can
great.
combine and add
That's
things.
great.
Yep.
That's great.
I'm,
Thank you.
I'm so far from eating raw food, Madhu, so I'm more skeptical about this than the juice diet. I'm
You never. I'm telling you, Archana. Once you taste the raw food, you don't feel
sure
like eating the real food. And I mean, I don't say the real food, the cooked food.
cooked
The
food.
yeah.
Actually, there are a lot of nice. I make a lot of salads. If
Yes.
once you get used to those salads, you don't miss anything.
Yeah, and not only salads. See, there's so many soups that you can make. The pumpkin soup. My goodness, what taste it is! Raw pumpkin soup, and you
Oh,
can
you
make.
mean can we boil that?
No boiling.
Ah,
Nothing should be kept on the stove.
yeah. So
So
soup in
it
the
is
sense how do you
just
make
cut the
without?
pieces. Just
Ah.
cut the pieces and blend it with some the seasoning, like what do you say that
Oh,
Italian seasoning, like thyme or
yeah.
like rosemary. So all these things.
Italian seasoning. Yeah.
Yeah, Italian seasoning. So you can make it. It will be very tasty, and you can
Oh,
make dips and dips for the dips. Like we eat dips with
yeah, for
like
the chips. Yeah,
nachos,
chips.
right? Like
Yeah,
instead
yeah.
of nachos, what we use is like we use carrots. We use
Yeah.
carrots, like carrot sticks. Like we make like a stick and we used to eat. My
Yeah,
goodness, it's
otherwise
so tasty.
guacamole.
Guacamole is also great. Yes,
Yeah,
guacamole is amazing. That's my favorite
because I
again.
Beetroot
use,
and
yeah.
almonds, Madhu.
We can
Beetroot
use
and
Sorry,
almonds.
Madhu.
Yeah, a
Can
lot.
sorry. What did you say, Archana?
Beetroot. I said beetroot and almonds.
Yes, beetroots and almonds, beetroot and carrot salad. My good. I mean, there is so much we can explore in a raw food diet. Like when it's just like only that we have to make our mind. And in those 2 months, I did 2 times, 2 months each time. So in those 2 months, I made up my mind, and once I made up my mind, I had no other thoughts of eating the food which I'm cooking for Ramesh. So I don't even taste it. So if the salt is less, he used to add. So like that I used to prepare. So that much I have gained a lot of willpower. So yeah, so we will see it, and you will surely feel a difference after this 15 days, and you really want to continue it because you feel your body is more light, and like your soul is happy because that is the real food. The raw food is the real food. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Great, great, great.
I know, Madhu, I had done this detox only to check out my willpower, and I was happy that I was able to do.
Yes.
So now this is the second thing which I need to check out. I would
You
do
will
it.
do it. You will do it, Archana. It's just that you have to say it that you can
So
do
no
it.
salt, right? No salt. That's the main thing, right?
No, no, no. There is nothing as
Oh,
such.
oh, good, good, good.
No, 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 no. There is nothing as such. We can use
Because there
salt.
was no salt, no sugar in the juice. Eh?
No, no. Sugar also, we don't use sugar. We don't use processed
Can we
ones.
use cheese, like crumbled cheese or something?
No, no, no. We don't use that.
Okay,
No. Yeah.
okay.
So maybe you
Ye-
can grate what is say cauliflower, or you can grate cabbage to have that
Okay.
cheese feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, okay.
Yeah, we'll have to
Right.
start out of for this recipe because I'm like so poor when it
No,
comes
no.
to.
I will guide you. I'll guide
Oh,
you. I'll
great, great.
surely guide you. Every day I'll be sharing the recipes of what to prepare, and you can do that. So I'll be sharing each day like seeing the vegetables what are available here according to our seasons. So if anybody have questions, like if somebody is joining from India, and if they don't have that leafy vegetable, or that like vegetable, I will give the alternative to them what they can do it in
Yeah,
India.
yeah. I'm
Yes.
I'm like kind of a mixture of anxiety or fear and excitement. It's all like a mixture.
No, no, no fear, no fear.
15
This
days
is
will also pass. Like how this 9 days went by, I'm sure that 15 days will also. The only thing is
yes,
that Diwali शायद बीच में रहेगा. I think I'm not sure,
yes,
but yes, so
yeah.
Diwali.
Diwali beach mein, that is a challenge.
That's a challenge. I know.
So not to eat sweet. and
Exactly.
and also I will share you how to make sweets as well. With mm, with the raw sweets and the
Raw.
raw cake. I will like raw ice cream cake. I will let you know how to make it.
Yeah.
And thanks to my friend here, my one of my dear friends here in Germany. She also inspired me to do this raw food diet, and her name is Milena, and she did it for 6 months on a raw food diet, and
Wow.
and
Wow.
my goodness.
Wow.
Yeah, so she has all the equipment to do the biscuits. I mean, like the raw biscuits kind of a thing, and she's amazing. She's really so, and It's
Bless you.
good. We can all do that.
Great,
Yeah,
great.
let's do that together.
Wow.
Yes. Usha, you wanted to say something?
Something to
Madhu,
look forward.
yeah, I wanted to ask. I don't know if in India or probably southern India we can get anything like any leafy vegetables. I
No,
don't know if we get
we get
anything here.
we get spinach,
Yeah.
we get methi, we get we the leafy vegetables, whatever we get in South India, that can be eaten raw. We can just
Hmm.
cut it and we can make a
No.
salad. I told my
What
mother,
can we get here in Heidelberg?
no. What can we get so much, Usha? We get
I
so much.
only eat spinach. I mean
Oh no,
spinach
there are
and
so
iceberg
much,
salad.
like let's go for a shopping then. Come home and then we go from here
Yeah, yeah.
to
Anyways, I
the.
wanted to come and see Ananya. Madhu, are you there? Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
My internet was not stable.
Okay.
Yes.
No. Anyways, I wanted to come and see Ananya. Probably if she's there over the weekend, I will come and
Yes,
see
she's
her.
here. Yeah, she's
Yeah,
here,
I'll
Usha.
come and see her.
Great,
Anyways,
great. Yeah.
thank you, Madhu.
Thank you, Usha. Anybody else, friends, wants to and before we end the session tomorrow we have Master Ravi from India who will be guiding us into meditation at 6 a.m. and 10:30 6 a.m. Germany time and 10:30 a.m. India time. And one more thing, friends. Lately, when I started meditating, or when I spoke to a very good friend here, she had mentioned that her father was, having fears of this corona. So, and this thought came up that why don't we start meditation for our parents in India, like inviting them to join this meditations, and where they can express and where they can sit and meditate. It's like letting go of the fear and letting in the strength. So this is what we have to give to our parents. So, and if you all resonate with that, we can plan that soon as well, and we can spread that word out.
Sure. Yeah. If I know the information, I will pass on to my mother.
Yes. It's very important at these times where,
Yeah.
like we are all here abroad. We don't know what our parents are going through, how much fear are they facing, until and unless my friend expressed about her father. Later, I spoke to her father, and he agreed that he will do meditation. The fear was like as if as if he feels that he had got that virus. So like
Oh my God.
that much trauma people are going through, like we just don't know it. It's just that they don't know how to deal with it and
Handle. Yeah.
handle it.
Okay.
And that's where we have to support them and to bring them into this path where they can express, and then after they express, we listen to them, like what we have heard in this book, Yashodhara. We listen to them, and then we all sit together and we create a circle for our parents. It is really amazing if we can do that.
Yeah. Um, actually, I taught my mother after, a few months ago, this meditation she started doing.
Mm.
I keep telling her, uh, she's in 80s, and I keep telling her, don't be fear of death. I mean, she is spiritual. She's spiritual. She knows, and I keep telling her, when you are getting older, never don't have any attachment to any of either people or material things, and don't be scared of death. I keep telling,
Mm.
assuring that.
Yeah.
So it's very important. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very important, and yeah, we have to do that. So it's like I was thinking the number was coming 21 days of letting go of fear and letting in the strength especially for the parents. So this will be the title. Yeah, let's see how it manifests in the coming days. Yeah. So
Madhu, quick question. So,
Yes, please, Kavita.
should I write it as 15 days challenge starting 11/11?
Yes, 15 days challenge till 26th.
Okay. So I'll send a note to you in just a few minutes.
Perfect, perfect,
If you
Kavita.
check it and reply
Sure,
back, we can start
sure,
sharing.
sure.
Okay?
Let's
Yeah.
do that. Yeah,
Thank
thanks,
you.
Kavita. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Madhu.
Thank you, Balagaru. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. See you all tomorrow then. And till
So
then,
what's the next book, or when are we starting?
we will take a break of a week's time. So
Okay.
as our friend Neelima suggested that we meditate from tomorrow, like for at least
Longer.
1 hour to 90 minutes. So
Sure.
we will the 1 week, the coming week whole, every day we will meditate for 90 minutes. So
Okay.
and then we gain again the strength to take to the next book. I think the next book will be Many Lives, Many Masters, as Ram
Okay.
said.
Yeah, I have that. I read it. Yeah, that's a nice
Perfect.
book.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
Balakar. Yeah, yeah. Bye-bye. All right, friends. So we'll see each other tomorrow.
Yeah. Thanks, Madhu.
You're
Bye.
welcome, Archana. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye all.
Thanks, Madhu. Bye.
Bye, Lakshmi. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, Madhu ma'am. Bye.
Bye, Devasmita. Bye-bye. Bye, Mridulaji. Yeah.